Hello Magic Maker, Carolina here, and today I'm filming in my part-time office in the city, so that's why the different setting around me. And we'll be talking about choosing carefully when to do your readings. So this is going to involve the frequency, how often may be too often, and whether there are any limits on the number of readings you should be doing per day or per week. But most of all, what are the situations in which personally, I think it's best to avoid any readings in the first place, and why. So let's dive into it. So as you probably already know, I'm not a really big fan of rules because I think your tarot readings and most of the stuff that you do in your life really should be rather fun, and rules are not really fun, let's be honest. So in terms of the frequency of your readings, it really depends where you are at and what your own style really is. Now obviously, when you are only starting with your card readings and you're practicing, you'll be doing more readings, as well as when you get, for example, a new deck, then you probably will want to explore it as much as possible and you'll go crazy with readings and do all kinds of them. I always do that myself because I want to test that deck out. Now the only thing you want to have in mind though is doing way too many readings regarding one particular issue that you're dealing with. So what I mean by that is, it's not a really good idea to ask the same question over and over again in a really short period of time, or maybe even alternate the question a little bit, but pretty much you're asking about the same thing all over again. Now, the reason why this is not a really good idea is that we usually do this when the outcome in the reading is not what we would like it to be. So we're kind of trying to get a new reading and another one to see whether the result that we're looking for is going to come up. But that's not really what you're after, right? You want the cards to get you accurate information and really reflect back to you what's actually true for you in that very moment. So repeating the same reading over and over again is kind of like cheating, really, if you think about it. A couple more things on the when it's a good idea to repeat a reading about a specific issue or topic. So a general rule of thumb is that as long as you feel, and you always feel it deep down in your gut, trust me, as long as you feel there has been some shift, something has changed in the circumstances of the situation, and this can be from the outside perspective or even internally, something has shifted within you, how you feel about the issue or the situation. It's a good idea to repeat a reading if you feel like doing it, because you will probably get a different outcome. Because, we all change within hours, weeks, months, and years. So as long as you check in with yourself and kind of feel in your gut that you're not asking about the same thing again, just expecting a little bit different outcome than you had last time because you were not really happy with it, then it's probably fine. Now, I know it's really tempting when something intense is going on to do as many readings about it as possible. But over time and with experience, you'll see that less is actually more with a lot of readings. Because once you get confident in what you see and about the insights that you get from your cards, you will need only one, maybe two, maximum 3 readings about one thing, and you will know exactly where you are at and what you need to do next. Now, in terms of how many readings per day or per week you can do, there are really no limits. You will probably eventually find out that you will get tired of readings as well. You will kind of get burned out because you actually have to focus on what comes up and think about it a little bit. So you might get bored or too tired to do this. A very popular thing is to do daily readings, but I really think it's important to kind of focus on what time of the day you do the readings at. Because in my personal experience, when I used to do morning daily readings, this has a big potential to really affect and alternate your day. Because let's say that you wake up and you feel really super fine, everything's great, and you pull a card and it's a dark card and you freak out because you're like, oh my god, something horrible is gonna happen. So eventually I stopped doing these morning daily readings because I found out that actually they stress me out. What I think is much better is to do daily reflections, which would be drawing a card to reflect on the day that has already happened and to all the things that have already happened. So you can get some more insights on why that happened or what it might mean or whether there is any deeper meaning in it. Another thing that I would be really careful, and my personal experience again is that I rather avoid readings in situations like this, and that's really super intense situations that are ahead of me and that I'm somehow anxious or worried about. So let's say you, for example, have a job interview, or you're going for a date, a first date, and you are really nervous about it. So what a lot of people do is they do a reading about it beforehand, again, to kind of get insights, to see what it's gonna be like, and predict what might happen. Personally, again, the same principle as with the morning daily readings. I don't think it's a good idea because you never know what comes up, and chances are that since you already are stressed out and the cards usually reflect what's already in there, you will get something dark or something not really nice that you don't really like, and it will mess you up even more. So that would be my big tip. Be careful about readings right before a very intense situation. My personal opinion is that it's always better to do a reflection reading afterwards rather than beforehand. What you can do before situations like this, before a job interview or something, is ask about your feelings and how you can deal with them. So, for example, draw a card that will give you guidance on how to deal with your anxiety or nervousness, or you can ask for an advice card for that situation. That is much more better than asking about the situation itself, how it's gonna go, or how it's gonna end up, okay? So to sum it all up, there are really no rules in how often and how many readings you could or should be doing, okay? And by no means I want to tell you that doing daily readings, even the morning ones, is wrong or something, because it isn't. It really depends on your personal style, what you find that you prefer and what you find that you like. So you gotta experiment with it. The only thing that I would be aware of and maybe careful about is not doing the same readings over and over again and cheating, but rather waiting for some kind of a shift, either internal or from the outside, that changes the situation so that you know that you are asking about a different thing actually than before. And another thing would be not really, or being at least careful with readings that you do right before an intense situation, because it can really alter the way you approach the whole situation, what your expectations from it are, and everything like that. Okay? So I hope, again, this was helpful for you, that I gave you some handy tips. Let me know in the comments again, and I'll see you next time. Bye!